All right, so right here I have GW501516, and I kind of wanted to give you guys just a breakdown and an overview of both the product from Chemio, but also what I've used it for. I'm pretty much just going to keep it short and simple. First I'll do like the overview and then like the mechanism of action. It's pretty much just short, and then purported benefits versus clinical reality. I'll read that off to you, and then I'll just tell you my own opinion of it. So GW501516, also known as Cardarine, which it says it on the bottle. It'll say it on probably every bottle. Or Idernabol is a synthetic PPAR. Proliferator activated receptor delta agonist, originally developed in the 1990s by GlaxoSmithKline. It was primarily researched for its potential to treat metabolic and cardiovascular conditions, which is basically like an exercise mimetic, including obesity, diabetes, and dyslipidemia. Pretty much Cardarine or GW501516's functions of activating PPAR receptors, which regulates fatty acid metabolism in several ways. Basically, just reading the data on it, it pretty much is fuel shifting. It switches the body's primary energy source from glucose, which is carbohydrates, to lipids, which is fats. So instead of using the carbs that's either in your body if you're not like fasted or haven't eaten, it pretty much promotes your body to use fats over carbohydrates as the energy source, depending on whether you were lifting weights or you were doing cardio. Either one of those two. It's pretty much what it promotes. Fatty acid oxidization, it upregulates the uptake and burning of fatty acids in tissues such as skeletal muscle and adipose tissue. So it's pretty much just going to primarily choose to burn fat over using carbohydrates, or potentially burning muscle, which likely wouldn't happen unless you were obviously in like a super depleted state, or you really haven't been eating enough, so your body's just going to eat the muscle instead of choosing to use body fat or the carbohydrates that's stored up in your body from eating. And then mitochondrial biogenesis activation increases the number of oxidative slow twitch muscle fibers, which are rich in mitochondria and have high endurance. So pretty much it just activates the slow twitch muscle fibers. That's just an effect of it. And then lipid management, it has been shown to increase good HDL, good cholesterol, and decrease triglycerides in animals, which I'm sure there's human studies and trials and stuff that they have done with this since then that probably shows the same thing. But there are also risks with using this as well, which is like why it's banned, why it's like on the WADA list, the anti-doping agency list. It's banned on there, A, because it works, and B, well, they've done trials and clinical studies in super high doses that have, shown like cancerous tumors and things like that. But if you're taking it in a dose that's like 50 times what like a normal dose would be, of course something would come up. But you could do that with probably anything. But they obviously have protocols and such, which is why they do it in such a dose that is that high. So purported benefits versus clinical reality. While popular in athletic and bodybuilding communities, GW501516 has never been approved for human use. It's banned. I mean, it works. I mean, it does what it says it definitely increases your endurance for sure. It's basically, like I said, known as an exercise mimetic. It can significantly enhance cardiovascular output in running distance in animal studies. And also I've been using it for the last 3 weeks, and I've used it in the past, just because you just get a better cardio workout, and you certainly do notice it. Fat loss, it promotes weight loss by increasing metabolic rate and reducing visceral fat deposits in rodent animals. Now, whenever I would run it every day, did I notice necessarily deposits of fat being reduced? No, but byproduct, if you're doing more cardio and you're doing more cardio easier, then you're going to burn more body fat or just lose more weight in general, unless you're out eating the extra cardio you're doing. The research on it was discontinued The clinical development was halted in 2007 because preclinical trials showed that it caused widespread rapid tumor development in multiple organs in rats. And then there's obviously a study linked to that, but that's pretty much why. But they were also running it at a super crazy high dose, which if you did that with anything, it would cause the same thing regardless. You could take 5,000 milligrams of caffeine a day, and eventually over time, something is going to happen. That's just the reality. There is really no foolproof way. Like, if you consumed a ton of alcohol every day, your liver and stuff's gonna start to fail. It works the same way with everything else. And then obviously, GW is banned. I mean, it's WADA banned. It's strictly prohibited at all times in the anti-doping agency WADA under the category of S4.5 metabolic modulators. So it's obviously banned in like sports and athletic competitions, so on and so forth. Obviously, people use ways around it. I don't even know how popular this is anymore compared to like most stuff, but it is banned because it does work. And then it's not approved for therapeutic use in humans. In some regions like Australia, it's classified as a Schedule 10 poison. Alcohol is the same thing. I mean, alcohol pretty much is a poison, but meaning it is considered so dangerous that its scale and use are prohibited by law. Doping violations, despite the risks, it is frequently found in contaminated supplements and has led to numerous professional athlete suspensions. Obviously, if you get caught using it, I mean, it would be great for things like football, baseball, soccer. I mean, long distance running, because I mean, pretty much like the reason people are taking it is just because you get more bang for your buck when you do cardio. So it's gonna. I have done long runs with it. Like, that's one thing. Like, so, well, I guess what we'll do is we'll go into like my personal experience with it. So like at the end of my workout, I'll do cardio, right? I usually take like 3 milliliters or 30 milligrams of it on a day that I'm going to do cardio. I typically take it like 30 minutes to an hour before I do the cardio. I'm going to finish my lifting workout and then I'm going to jump on the stair mill. I usually do intervals on the stair mill just as much as on the stair mill or whether the treadmill, it doesn't matter. I usually do everything in intervals. So I'm going to have a high intensity interval and then I'm going to have a cooling section. I usually do that, or a cooling like set. I pretty much do 1 minute bursts between walking slow and then high output, walking slow and then high output. What I noticed between going from like 1 flight of steps to 10 flight of steps is whenever you take GW501516, what I notice is in that set that I'm doing, the 10 flights of steps a minute is superiorly easy. Like, I notice a lot less sweating. I notice I'm certainly less tired when I do it. It's much easier. The fatigue doesn't build up as quickly. And that's just what you notice. Now, it just changes the way the fibers like operate. And then it feels like you're far less out of breath. Like that's what I notice from it. And then what I also notice from it whenever I take it is there are times where I can just do more sets. I can get a couple more reps on certain sets, like whenever I take it, as opposed to not. Now, this isn't always the case. Obviously, if you're super fatigued, you're not going to notice the benefits of it. You still got to get recovery and you got to eat the right stuff and stuff like that. But you certainly notice that you're getting more reps, and then you definitely notice that the cardio is easier. You can go quite a bit farther. Now, how much farther? Let's say you're able to jog, I don't know, 2 minutes in a row at like 3 miles an hour. What you would notice if you took it was, especially if you like, I kind of feel like you want to build it up like in your system. So you take it, I don't exactly know what the half-life on it is, but I would take it on Tuesday, and then I would also take it on Wednesday, obviously before the workout sessions. And then on that second day, basically what you would notice is if you were able to jog, at 3 miles an hour for, 5 minutes or whatever, you would notice once you got to that 5-minute mark, you may have moved even faster, or it was just much easier, meaning you weren't out of breath as much. That's the one main thing that I noticed from taking it. Now, is it worth taking if you're trying to like burn body fat or lose weight? It's not a permanent solution or thing. It's not something that I would take a lot. It's not something I would throw in permanently and then just continuously take it, because like everything else, your body adapts to it and then it stops. It's not that it stops working, it just stops working like in the way you want it to. You obviously want a better result each time, or you want the same result each time. It's not gonna work like that. It's kind of something that really, for me personally, it's not something that I would just run permanently all the time. Now, if you were trying to cut a certain amount of weight pretty quick, I think it could be useful for that. It's not going to make you like stronger, physically stronger. You might get more reps and stuff, but that's because of the way it's like interacting with your body. Basically, the way it's interacting with your body. And yeah, I mean, other than that, it doesn't have any like super crazy cognitive effects. You don't necessarily feel any different. It doesn't give you this euphoric high. You're not going to put 100 pounds on any kind of lift. It's basically just to make cardio easier. And yes, it is noticeable. Now, how much noticeable is it? I would say like 10 to 20%. It's not this thing where it's like all gears on blast and then all of a sudden you can run a 4-minute mile in, or you can run a mile in like 4 minutes. It's not like that. It's more like if you could do 1 mile in 10 minutes, you can now do 1 mile in 9 minutes. And then on top of that, you basically also realize that you're not as fatigued at the end of it. So you could keep going for longer if you want. You basically get more bang for your buck. Are there any side effects with it? I mean, there's side effects with anything that you put in your body. So I would definitely read up more on it and then kind of study it and then even look at more reviews of it. But like I said, there was cancer in the animal studies, but that was at like 270 milligrams a day for 22 weeks. So that'd be like taking a whole bottle of this a day, a whole bottle of this a day for 22 weeks. Your liver and your major organs are certainly going to notice something for sure. But like I said, I run it at about 3 milliliters or 30 milligrams. It's 10 milligrams per milliliter. I would run it at, I'm 190 pounds. That's more than enough to saturate, in my body. And I notice at that dose, I definitely get good results. It's not something I take every day. It's something I would take like every 3 or 4 days, especially on a day that you know you're going to do cardio. Like if you've done leg day, you're probably not going to do cardio that day. But like, let's say it's after chest day and you want to do cardio or throw it in. It's definitely a nice addition. I mean, some people would supplement for a cardio day with maybe some more pre-workout or caffeine, but it's kind of nice to switch things up and try different, or take different things, like cycle the caffeine, cycle the pre-workout, obviously cycle the GW, and then whatever else you might be taking, like Motzi. I took 4 milligrams of Motzi today. Do I notice it? Yeah, I definitely noticed the energy output. I mean, I also slept more and stuff like that, but as far as like an exercise mimetic, is it worth taking? Is it a good product? It's like $69.99, I believe, or $79.99. Is this worth getting? Sure, if you're trying to do a lot of cardio and cut a lot of fat in a short period of time, I think it can help. It just, it gives you sort of an edge. It makes cardio easier. You're able to obviously burn a little bit more calories than you normally would, but effort is still involved. Now at some point I'm going to do a deeper dive on it. I'm going to take it longer and actually see, like, the most I've ever taken is like 30 milligrams, and I wouldn't even take it every day because I didn't think it was worth taking every day. I did it for like 5 days in a row, and I just, between the fatigue from work and then lifting weights, I mean, at some point the fatigue builds up, so you're not going to get as much output, but at some point I'm going to do a deeper dive on it and kind of do an experiment, see what happens if I take it at like 5 milliliters, but I probably won't push it past that. But yeah, as far as that's concerned, I mean, that's kind of my thoughts on it, and yeah, that's pretty much it.